And now for our feature presentation.
This is great because on the back it actually says this film is also known as
the I'll Watch It Later podcast.
You ever heard of that film?
And now, on with the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to I'll Watch It Later podcast, the podcast where we lie about the movies we've seen to impress our friends. I, as always, am Aaron, joined by my best friend, Jordan.
Hello.
He's
my
alive
best
this week?
friend, and
Yeah.
What? I said he's alive this
I'm
week.
alive this week.
yeah. Was he dead last week?
The
Right, the late
The
Jordan.
late
The late Jordan. And my brother-in-law, producer, and best friend, Scott.
Hello.
So, we are here to discuss Scott's movie. We'll pick the movie for 2 weeks from now, and just kind of, do it like we've been doing it. So, how are you guys this week? What's been going on? You guys watch anything besides the movie?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What did I do?
You did?
Yeah.
You held it from me.
What did you watch?
No, because you were like, I'm busy. I can't do things.
I am a very busy person.
No, you're not.
I'm very
You're
busy.
very
He actually has
lazy.
it recorded and he just plays it for you. Because
He's like,
that's just
yes.
how his normal day is.
He's like, hey, guys, I watch TikToks from sun up till sundown.
Yep.
And that's
That's what I watched.
For real?
Yeah, just TikToks.
Oh, you're stupid.
No. I actually I checked out Licorice Pizza.
What?
Yes.
I'm actually so happy for you, but Jordan hasn't seen it.
Talk
so
about it. I don't care.
We're doing this thing where
I won't talk about it. I mean, just give you maybe a little kind of what I thought.
I want all
When
the
did you
plot
watch this?
Probably beginning of the week, maybe.
Is it out?
And
Like,
you
is it out? Oh, is it a...
It's on soap.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do not condone stealing movies here.
We don't condone it, but we do
I
it.
literally stole the movie we watched last
We didn't have a choice.
Because we couldn't get the English subtitles
Ugh,
up,
we'll
so
go
we would
with
have to
it.
watch the whole thing in a language that we just
I
cannot
learned
understand.
Portuguese for you people.
Is that what the language it was in?
I believe it was
Portuguese.
spoken in Portuguese. Subtitles were in Spanish. I speak neither one of those.
Subtitles were in English for me, bro. Oh, you mean on HBO Max?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So what did you think of Licorice Pizza? You better liked it. I will.
It was good. I don't know if I liked it probably as much as you liked it, but I thought it was a fun movie to watch. I thought the dynamic between I had a fucking brain aneurysm right there.
Today, Junior.
The dynamic between the two main characters was good. Bradley Cooper was funny. I mean, he was just kind of like just reminded me like some coked out fucking star that he was playing.
He was playing a coke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like his whole demeanor, man. It's like, that was good. It was a good movie. I mean, it's an enjoyable watch. Her character's so strange though, because you think you're getting into kind of like this teen kind of romance, but she's like in her 20s, obviously, and she just has all these issues and problems, and she's hooked up with this 15-year-old kid, and I mean, it's just it's strange, but the dynamic works, and I mean, that's all I'll say because I don't want to like ruin too much if Jordan hasn't seen it.
What I don't get is the double standard that has come out where, like, if it's an older actor and there's a younger love interest, people are starting to give a lot of shit for it. But this chick is supposed to be 10 years older than a 15-year-old, and everyone's like, yeah, it's cool.
Actually,
no,
I'm cool with it. The internet is freaking out, but I hate the narrative because I'm tired of this. Every character has to be this moral, like, good person in every movie, and it's like, why are they still making movies like this? And it's like, no. Relationships are complicated. People are complicated. It's not always black and white. It's always cut and dry. You can make faulty characters likable, and you can make decisions that wrap around all of that. I think the age difference between them in Licorice Pizza is very dynamic because of the way that a 15-year-old kid acts like he's 30 and a 25-year-old girl acts like she's 15. So I think that's the whole point of the film. And I'm tired of the internet discussing things. They're not allowed to anymore because it's just so stupid.
The steam is coming off of his
No,
forehead
I'm not
right
even
now.
mad. I honestly, it's just like, hey, there's nothing wrong with this.
But it's also set. It's set in the 70s, so
Right.
it's I mean, it's a different time. And if we keep molding to today's standards,
Yes.
we're going to lose a lot
Everything.
of what was special about different eras.
Well, we'll never make a movie set in that era because
Right.
I mean, like, everything has to be like, well, how come there wasn't a lot of representation in World War II? I'm like, because there wasn't.
Just like the new Lord. I don't even want to get into it, but that new Lord of the Rings show is just. I mean, I guess it's a whole shit show going on.
Well, the fandom is getting dumb. I think the idea that you're getting mad that there was a black orc out there. Get over it. It's a fantasy world, you dumb shits. Like, it's not a real world. Get over it. I don't care if it was a sparkly fucking winged orc with a horn on his head. Who cares?
I wasn't going to watch it anyway, so.
I'm going to, but I don't care. I care, but I don't care.
I care, but I don't care.
I mean...
That's our next podcast.
I care, but I don't care. Where we talk about the things that we shouldn't be watching, like the movie I watched this week, Home Team.
Oh, you did watch that?
Well,
okay.
I really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I
think Scott was the only one that didn't like it because he hates any other team that's not the Cardinals.
No,
it's not even for me. I took it. I didn't even place it in the oh my god, it's a football coach from the NFL. I didn't think about it. It for me, you're right. It was like a what was it? What's that football movie that everyone loves? That kids one.
The Little Giants.
Little Giants. I honestly never.
But
seen
that's what my problem was.
Hold on.
You never said what?
I'm older than you. I don't care.
No.
Scott's ancient.
Stop saying you don't care. You need to watch it tonight.
No.
Will you please watch it?
I'll never do it.
Why?
Pick it.
I'll buy it. No. I'll buy it for you.
Why
So this actually bothers me now.
Yeah, me too.
Because see, this was my comparison to the movie because I said that Little Giants is a better movie. It's more heartwarming than Home Team. Home Team was good, but if you're comparing it to kind of the movies that you would lump it into, it falls short for me. On that aspect.
I have other movies that I can compare it to. You know, you've got your Mighty Ducks, you've got your Hardball, you've got all those movies where it's like, okay, someone goes in to coach a ragtag team of losers that, you know, whatever. That it's very formulaic. Like, it was a very formulaic movie.
Yeah.
Kevin James played this as a straight man. Like, he didn't even make the typical like Kevin James type jokes, especially for a Happy Madison movie. Everyone around him was doing something stupid. Mm-hmm. Everyone was around him was doing some kind of joke. I think that was weird for me because I thought like, okay, everyone's doing this like funny ha-ha bit and he's Sean Payton. Like, you know, he's playing it straight. Like, there was a few moments where he would make like a sarcastic joke, like quip here and there, but it wasn't made to be like he's telling joke ha-ha funniness.
Right.
And I think that was cool. There was a lot of like supporting characters that did a lot. I think there was one supporting character, honestly, that felt like he didn't fit in the movie and that they set this whole bit up for him and it never paid off. It was the drunk assistant coach.
Oh, I think that was a Waterboy reference. I think
was it? Because
only
this
thing
dude
that was in there for.
No,
yeah.
this dude I know for, you know, the way they played it is that he got a DUI, lost the ability to drive, and that's why he rides the bike. And he's constantly getting drunk. And then that in the
I'm
water
thinking of
bottle,
the other guy. Yeah,
he's constantly getting drunk.
I'm
and
thinking of the old guy from Waterboy who was essentially the same character in this film. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, that's fine. You're dumb. Just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, like that whole bit, like they played it up like there was going to be some payoff toward the end. And honestly, it was more of he kept getting ragged on by the bus driver, who I thought was really funny.
I think it was more just to have, because it's being a Happy Madison movie, you have to have those type of weird characters because they always have in some of their movies they always have that character.
Yeah.
Some kind of a weird character. So I think it was like his
Nick
way
Schwartzen.
Yeah, his way of
yeah.
putting his stamp on the movie, one keeping it kind of a serious movie.
I mean, I think putting his entire family in the movie was his own stamp.
That's he always does that. But I agree with you. I liked it for what it was. I thought that some of the jokes just did not land where they're all throwing up because of the.
That went on too long.
Rob Schneider was super annoying in it, but
I liked him at first, and then the bit got kind of played out.
Got so played out.
Like, all right.
But I wasn't necessarily offended by it.
Actually, my favorite character is actually played by, I believe, what's his face? Adam Sandler's cousin, and it's the hotel clerk.
Oh, yeah.
That dude, for some reason, made me laugh every time. And he's sitting there just peeling eggs in the middle of the night.
You got any bagels? Oh, yeah. But I saved some for my wife.
She's pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, then, like, hey, yeah, we had the baby. And he sends the picture, and he goes, you probably shouldn't show that to people. And it's like in mid-birth or something. Like, they don't show it, but they describe it. And he goes, oh.
I like
his character was actually really funny.
I like to think that that person exists.
Oh, I'm
he
sure
was
he
based
does.
on a true person.
Oh, yeah, for
instead
sure.
of just being in a comedy movie.
But yeah, I mean, that was actually it was an enjoyable movie more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's right there. It's right on Netflix. I didn't have to have it. There's no effort. I was just like, I need to put something on for me and Wesley to watch while we're eating dinner, and the next thing you know, I'm sucked in for an hour and a half. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't want to like this, but it was enjoyable.
Okay, so you need to see Little Giants.
I won't do it.
And no, listen, it is Rick Moranis, Ed O'Neill. They're brothers, and they have a rivalry football game, and it's so good.
Let's go, Icebox.
Yeah, dude. You know, and Devin Sawa's in it. There's other people in it. I can't think of
others.
There's so many other people.
And the rest.
Yeah, no, but I really think you'd enjoy it. I think now more than ever, it's just that dynamic, like, oh, it's me versus you. We're family. It's very, very, very good. And I really need you to watch Little Giants.
Little Giants has more of the heartwarming kids
but it's also a
aspect with a
great
sports
movie
story.
with a great story.
Yeah.
So you just need to pick it up.
All right, that was Little Giants cast.
Little Giants cast here. Rick Moranis will be on the show next week. Anyway.
Well, wasn't Scott supposed to watch a movie and he never got around to it? So
What movie?
Oh God, what was it?
Weren't you supposed to watch a movie?
I watch all the things.
No, you
I
were
watch
like,
way more
I'll
than he
watch it
does.
I'll watch it
There's
tonight.
a lot of movies that I'm supposed
never-
to get around to watching.
Did you watch Nightmare Alley?
No, not yet.
Oh my God! So it was 3
I haven't
weeks
been,
ago.
Honestly, I really haven't been in the mood to watch it because I feel like I want to be in the mood for it. Because if I go in there thinking, you know what, I don't want to wait I don't want to sit 2 hours. It's already late. And like I said, a lot of the times because of the time difference, I'm dealing with hanging out with Wesley, doing stuff, get him into bed. And then next thing you know, because Emery's an hour behind, she wants to hang out for like an hour. And then next thing you know, it's almost 10 o'clock. And I'm like, do I want to sink into a 2 hour, really like heavy movie? And I don't. I'll throw a video game on and not think, or I'll throw on some stupid movie that, if
You've
I
seen 50 times
exactly,
already.
yeah. I mean, it's background noise at that point while I'm surfing the internet and texting you and doing stupid shit. So,
like texting you.
I really have to be in the mood for it. And it's not because I'm actively trying to avoid watching it. I really want to watch it. I want to sit there and actually really enjoy this movie.
Can you watch it before the Oscars?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's, I believe, the movie we wanted Scott to watch.
Why haven't you watched
I
that?
did watch
yet?
that.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Okay.
I did watch that.
Then it was something else.
Yeah. that's
Well,
gotta be
so I'm going to say this
I
because
think
I
we
didn't
already
want to bring it
talked
up.
about it. What?
It was you wanted me to watch The Green Knight.
That's what it
because
was.
you were going to drink the soda, but
Oh,
I kind
he
of got a
thought-
free pass out of
He
that
thought
one.
because you drank half,
But I will watch it. I will watch
half
it.
a soda that wasn't even in the list, he got to not watch Green Knight. Okay.
You still need to watch Green Knight, dude. Just
I will.
borrow my disc.
Surrounded by
I'm
Welch's.
going to go back
I'm
to
not
what Jordan.
welching.
I'm going to go back to what Jordan just said because it's pretty much exactly how I feel sometimes, where I just don't want to sit down and
Oh, and
invest
I'm not going
the
to lie.
time into a movie.
That one is one that you probably should be in the mood
I'm
for
gonna
watching.
I mean, it's kind of like our pick this week. I did invest a little time to sit down and watch it.
So
yeah.
well, we'll get to that in a minute. But I agree. Like, I agree with everything you say, except like I find myself trying to find a movie before trying to find like a television show or anything. Like, I'm done with cable. Like, I'm calling this week and I'm cutting it off because all I do is put on a movie. I put on a movie.
Yeah.
And I just even though I didn't watch anything this week because I didn't really.
Well, and you right now you're in that sweet spot where Parker doesn't quite understand what's going on, so you can throw on a movie that maybe has something questionable that maybe he doesn't process. With Wesley, he's a fucking sponge. He will remember every bad thing I put on.
Why
so
are those boobies on the screen?
it's because Daddy needs something for himself. But I've lost that window, so now I have
for little something for little Johnny, something for Daddy.
boobies, boobies.
drink your juice, idiot.
Screaming the word boobies over and over again. Just running in a circle.
like Aaron on TikTok last
oh my
night.
God!
What? Oh, that was so stupid. I'm not even gonna get into it.
I know. I'm just
okay.
referencing
But
for,
see,
for
but
kicks.
I don't have that window anymore. So like, I have to when I get off work, I can't sit there and throw on a movie that I want to enjoy because I have to cater to a 6-year-old. So it's like it's really hard.
Just beat him up.
I've got here, drink this NyQuil, honey. Yeah, no. So I will watch Nightmare Alley. I've got the old one and I want to watch the new one. I know I want to revisit French Dispatch, which just came on HBO Max
so good.
again. So I want to watch that.
So good.
So I've got a list of things that I will watch and get through before the Oscars.
French
for sure.
Dispatch reminds me of like a really good meal. Like you eat it and you're just like, oh, this was so good. So satisfying. Anyways, I went and checked out the movie Studio 666 by myself.
Without his
Everybody
friends.
was napping, and I was like, I'm just going to get out of the house for a little bit. Went and had myself some zuppa toscana over at Olive Garden. Made friends with the bartender because I was all by my lonesome.
When you're here, you're lonely.
Yeah, just eating my soup. And I headed over to Harkins, and I purchased a ticket, and I sat down, and I watched this movie. It's bad, but it isn't as bad as like you think it's gonna be. It's just the Foo Fighters can't act; they're not actors. Grohl does his best, but it's clear like he's just like,
Stick to
I'll
music,
just
bro.
overact
And
the
it's
shit
weird.
out of this.
It's weird to me because Dave Grohl has been in numerous movies.
Has he?
Yeah, he was in the newest Bill and Ted, that third one that came out. He was in that for a moment.
For a moment.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
This movie is entirely centered around Dave Grohl. He's in every scene.
I mean,
every
you think he
scene.
would have picked up a few things here and there, but yeah, I don't know. Like, because like I said, he has been in a few things. Like
For
you said,
his-
maybe not for 2 straight hours, but he's been
well,
around.
that's the
Everybody else I was afraid of. Like,
Yeah.
you don't see the band. I didn't know, honestly, before you really get into it, I didn't know, and I wish I knew his name. He was the guy, he looks like Mexican. He's got the short cropped hair. It's always lighter. And he,
You talking about Pat,
fuck if I know.
the guitar player?
Sure.
Pat Smear?
Yeah,
Who
he was in
also
Nirvana.
Nirvana?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't know his name. Honestly, didn't even know the man could talk. I've never heard him say one word, and I saw the trailer for this, and he's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, he's not a mute. I mean, okay.
Oh, this guy?
Yeah. That
Yeah. He's really bad. And I'm not even trying to be mean to the movie. Here's the thing. It's an extra super violent, gory horror film. So when you're not getting good acting, you're getting horrific deaths. And you see everything. Like the opening scene is this dude with a hammer just killing this chick, and you see every aspect of it.
Jesus.
Then you meet the Foo Fighters, and they're like, "We got to make an album, blah blah blah. We need a new." Anyways, once that happens, this should have been an hour and a half long, maybe an hour and 20, but it is so drawn out, and there is so much time of nothing going on in the film that you're just like, why is this movie so long? It reminded me of a Tenacious D film, but bad. Which Pick of Destiny wasn't that great, but this was like, it was just like, none of this is any relevance to the horror. None of this. We get it. You're the fucking Foo Fighters. Like, you have to continue referencing it in every scene. We like.
There's a guy in the background with just a sign that says they're the Foo Fighters in every scene.
Yeah.
Remember? We were Everlong.
Yeah, there's a fucking reference to that in the movie.
I know, because that was actually in the trailer. That's what made me want to watch it, is where he's like, "Hey guys, I thought of this really killer song." He's like, "Do do 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 do."
Yeah.
And it's like, that's Everlong. You wrote that 10 years ago. I'm like, that's fucking
Yeah,
gold,
he's-
Jerry, gold.
Yeah, they show that scene in the film, and he's like, it's a long scene. It's like he does multiple Foo Fighters songs that you've already heard, and they're like, yeah, that is a great song. We wrote it a million years ago.
It's funny
Yeah.
because that's actually, some guy on TikTok does that. It's like a TikTok bit where he's like, I've got this new song, and he starts playing, and then like the other version of him going, that was written by this, and like it was like, that's Elton John, or that's this, and it's like, oh no, watch this, and he starts playing a song, and then he goes into a song that people know, and it's like, that's this running gag. So they're just stealing TikTok bits, is what you're saying?
Yeah, well, maybe. But so if you're going to see this, I would 100% avoid the theater. Catch it on HBO Max, Netflix, whatever streaming platform it's going to come to.
Let it come to you. Don't go get
Yeah,
me.
if you cut, like I said, if you cut a good 45 minutes out of this film, it's not terrible. The story's kind of fun. It's kind of like you got to finish this epic long super master 45-minute long song, and it's like once you play it, it releases like the devil of rock and roll and blah blah blah, and all these bands were trying to do it, and they kill their bandmates. Interesting story, kind of fun, especially when it comes to bands. Foo Fighters, maybe not the right band. I don't know. And then at the end, you get their new song. It's pretty good. I mean, the song is, not the movie. But it isn't worth going to the theater. It isn't really worth. It's a Sunday afternoon. I ain't got nothing going on. My wife and kids are out of the house, or I just need something to throw on, because you don't. There's no need to revisit. There's no need to watch it. Whitney Cummings is in it. She's super fucking annoying. So
I feel like this movie could have, if you said, like you said, shrink it down a little bit in time wise,
shrink
and then release it with a new album. like tie it into this movie and do a tie-in, and that would have.
I think there is
moved
a new album
units.
out.
Like
I think there is.
I think it's coming out. And that's why their new song.
They're actually
is-
going to be here tonight at the Innings Festival.
Yes.
So
in Tempe,
I would have loved. Yeah, I would have gone, but I think it was $125
expensive
for tonight's tickets.
We were looking at the tickets.
I don't know.
And
I
it
was on the
expensive.
fence already, and I think you've sold me on this. Like I'm gonna watch.
I was gonna say last
Studio
week when we were
666?
talking
No.
about it. I was gonna say I thought you were serious because last
I saw
week,
the trailer last. Where did we see the trailer?
when we saw Jackass. I think.
Yeah, it was for Jackass, and I was like, God, that looks even fucking worse than what I saw before.
Well, last week when we were driving to the concert, we were talking about it, and you're like, "Yeah, I don't want to see it." And I was like, "You're not going to see it," and we were like talking about it, and that's why I thought Aaron was going to be a good friend to us and invite us.
Well,
but
my new bit is I don't invite people to things, and then they just hate my guts. So
Our next podcast, you're not invited.
you're not invited. Here's all the events that we went to, and you weren't invited.
I'll invite you later.
Oh my god, that's fucking gold. That's the new bit.
I'll invite you later.
Where we come in and Aaron goes, "Hey, did you see that concert last week? Yeah, it was awesome. I went." And he just describes it, and I'm going, "Well, thanks for the fucking invite."
Oh yeah, I would have liked to see that.
I think we should have a phrase like "sick invite" or something like that. That'd be
I do say sick
good
all
joke.
the time. I actually had a podcast.
That'd be a
called
great
Sick
podcast, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
No,
We'll last 36 episodes.
Nothing personal. I just, like I said, I was getting out of the house. Everybody was
kidding. I don't
sleeping. I figured you wouldn't really.
I'm sure it'll hit like Paramount Plus or.
I'm
one of
sure
these
it
streaming
will.
services
It's
soon, and I'll catch
not
it.
going to last very long in the theaters.
I'm
I
surprised
was
it's not gone now.
the only human being in that theater.
Well, you went in the middle of the day on a Friday. I mean, that's probably the
Theater was
best
packed,
time
dude.
to do that.
But again,
Theater
why
was
wouldn't
packed.
this be
Really?
a movie that they would wait to
It's not
release
even spring
around
break.
like a Halloween time? Because
I
you'd
don't know.
probably get more play at Halloween.
It's
or in
very
October.
like devil
yeah.
haunted house.
I don't know because
See-
lately when they release a horror movie like in February, they've done statistically a lot better than most. Like I think they've done like a Halloween around on February. The Scream movies came out around February. I mean, they've
First of the year,
done pretty well with that
they always
release method.
They always stick movies they know are not going to perform well between January and March.
Yeah.
because that's right before the summer films. So they must have known that. They must have been like, it's fine, but it's not getting a big release.
Probably one of those movies that Dave Grohl probably fronted a lot of his own money to
Yeah,
make.
because actually it says that he's one of the.
I think he was one of the.
He's the writer. He's the writer of the film.
Yes.
but also the entire band is producing.
Yeah.
So they all probably were like, "Here's $10,000. Let's just go get this."
Dave,
movie
could you
made."
check your mattress? We want to make a movie. And
Yeah.
just pulls out wads of
They're
cash.
like, we're gonna make so much money off royalties on this thing with our names on it.
All thing he does throughout the movie is order DoorDash, and I was just thinking, God, it must be nice to be rich and just eat
Right.
DoorDash for every meal.
$6 delivery fee. Sure, why not?
But
I wrote Everlong.
you
I'll
were-
get donuts.
You're talking about Pat Smear. He plays like this super goofy character that like sleeps in the kitchen and is like super annoying.
He seems
Probably
like he
plays
would be
himself.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Probably.
he seems like that would be the guy. Like he
Yeah.
just kind of shows up. He's in the background of Nirvana. He shows up in Foo Fighters, and like I'm telling you, until that trailer, I don't think I ever
It's-
heard the man speak.
It's all inside jokes. It's like, hey, you know what'd be funny? Let's put Pat in the kitchen. That'd be hilarious.
Was there a super awkward putting a shotgun in your mouth bit?
There was there was not. Thank God.
Like Dave Grohl was like, yeah, we should put that bit in there and show that's why Foo Fighters is such a great band.
Oh my God.
The lead singer
there
of
is
a
a lot
shittier
of
band blew
Dave
his head off.
Grohl talk. So my favorite character in the whole movie was the drummer. I don't know his name.
Travis?
Is that his name?
Yeah.
It was
Please tell me you looked this up because I don't
Taylor.
know.
No, Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor
Okay.
Hawkins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know
Travis.
anything about the Foo Fighters
God, I
except
knew
for Dave
that.
Grohl.
That's weird.
He's the best part of the film. The drummer's the best part of the film. And then at one point, Grohl's like, "We're both drummers. Like, come on, we got to get on the same page." And I'm like, had to throw that in there. And he's the first one to play the drums in the movie,
Of course.
Like, and he's like, "Okay,
Well, I
this
mean-
is a good setup for it."
All jokes aside, Dave Grohl is actually very musically talented.
Yes,
like
I know.
like the first Foo Fighters album, he played all the instruments before he got the band together.
I'm
so I mean,
highly aware of that.
No. This is a
Does
music
anybody
history
else
right here.
want to tell me that story? Because God, everyone fucking knows. Anyways,
No, go ahead.
I gave it a 2. You guys should definitely check it out. What'd you give Licorice Pizza?
I would give it a 3.5.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was
That's
good.
a terrible score, but
3.5 out of 10. Yeah.
yeah, 3 out of 10. Yeah, it's not out of 5. 25.
all right. So, without further ado, we got around to watching Scott's movie. What did you pick for us this week, Scott?
I picked the crime drama from 2002, City of God.
Nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Director and Best Adapted Screenplay. Rio de Janeiro, the beach, the nightlife, the romance. But 15 miles from paradise is a place called the City of God. A place where one man must infiltrate a war between 2 crime lords to tell a story the world needs to know. City of God.
So excited to hear that trailer again with you can't understand anything. So.
No. The trailer that I had was it was like English over
talking
about the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Because sometimes, again, it's hard to find
I always
stuff that
sound check
is...
the shows. And
yeah.
it's hilarious when you get a foreign film. It's just like, da, 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 and you're like...
It's like he finds like the 3-minute trailer just in Korean.
I try to find something where somebody is like describing the movie because I know that most of our audience probably does not speak multiple languages.
I think Tito does.
I don't even know if Tito does.
That's why I like this movie.
That's why, yeah. So...
Scott,
tell us about your movie, brother.
So this movie takes place in Rio de Janeiro in the 70s. I'm just reading this. I'm just kidding.
It starts in the 60s and then moves.
Well, yeah, but the main part of it is in the 70s. It says 2 young men choose different paths. Rocket, who's a budding photographer, documents the increasing drug-related violence of his neighborhood. And then Lil Z, who is apparently he's a rapper from the 2000s, is an ambitious drug dealer who uses Rocket and his photos as a way to increase his fame as a turf war.
Terrible description.
Immediately, I have a problem with this entire description. You literally described the last 15 minutes of the movie. None of that makes fucking sense.
That's exactly what the description
No,
says.
I know.
So I'm
I know.
kind of trying to put some context for people who haven't seen this
I'm really
movie.
actually glad you read that because I read that same thing on IMDb and that's the way they described it. I'm like, motherfucker, this is the last 15 minutes.
It kind of is, but
has nothing to do with
I'm
the
trying
first...
to kind of figure out a way, like I said, to kind of present this movie so that they can
I
understand
would
what
say
I'm talking
it's about early life, growing up in the ghettos of Rio de Janeiro. It's about different stories and different people that exist in this time
It's
period.
like a hub of people
because
there's a lot of fucking
the
characters.
whole
rotating
because
characters.
I wouldn't even say Rocket is a main character. Yes,
He's
I
in
think
it, but-
he's in it. But
towards like the last half,
yeah,
he's the main
clearly
one of the main characters.
It ends with him. He's telling the narrative, but I would say he is a like 6th-rate character in this film.
I would think that this is more of a story of Lil Z, who starts off as what?
Little Z and the boys.
Little
Dice. So he kind of is in this movie from beginning to end versus Rocket, who is in the movie and sees things, but honestly, you're right. I mean, he's not even the main character until maybe the last 20 minutes.
There's not a lot of main other than Lil Z, who is predominant through the early parts of this movie and the later parts of this movie. There's a lot of people that come and go.
Yes.
And what this movie does is it takes
either they leave or they get killed.
Yeah, it takes a central story, right? And there's a lot of characters in this movie that rotate through revolving doors. And they introduce these characters at different times of the movie, like almost secondary.
Right.
They're either in a room, they're passing through this story.
I did like that.
And then they kind of introduce it and say, now, here we're talking about this guy, and this is where this guy's story starts.
Right.
So they kind of give you all these little miniature stories that build up to the big story at the end of this whole drug war.
Yeah, here's the story of Knockout whatever.
Before we get
Knockout Ned.
Knockout Ned.
Man, you just watched it. Have some respect for Knockout Ned.
I actually read
Rest
something
in
that's actually the name they chose for the American audiences because the other name they had referred to chickens, and American audiences would assume that he's cowardly because of the name Chicken something.
Oh.
So they changed it to Knockout to be like, hey, he's pretty.
I mean, the whole movie opens with chickens.
Right. Well, yeah, because, so the movie starts with a scene that ends up being the end of the movie. So
Yes.
they do that whole time flip thing, which is I think was pretty cool. I kind of laughed because I turned on this movie and I sent a text to you guys. It's like, you know how you want to be really artsy? Do a lot of quick shots of things really close.
I like that.
Well, yeah, but the first 3 minutes is literally quick shots of up close of things like chicken faces, and there's a knife, and there's this guy, and there's this, and nothing is filmed straight. Nothing is from a distance. Everything is really close and at an angle and doing it. So immediately it kind of made me feel like, oh, they're going to go really artsy with this movie. And then it didn't, and which was good because after I got past that, the story actually was really good. Like
The story is phenomenal.
So it starts off, I think late '60s, middle '60s, something like that, where they built these track homes in Rio. So the area hasn't really gone downhill. So there's these, track homes, and everything's the same. And then kind of things start to happen. Crime starts to kind of build up. Police aren't really policing. And that's when shit goes downhill. And then when they go into the 70s, that's what the favela looks like, that what you would assume looked like. Everything is trash. The streets are dark and gritty, and there's shit happening everywhere. Drugs are being dealt everywhere. Guns are everywhere. I don't think any character in this movie walked away with not having a gun in his hand.
I think everybody had one.
Everyone had a gun. Like it was bubble gum.
Except when it was inconvenient.
Right? Like, oh, where's my gun? I don't fucking know. In your other pants?
Yeah. Those guns were weird, too. They were like smooth cylinder with only 4 shots. Like, it was weird. Those were nothing like any 6-shooters I've ever seen.
Look like kind of the old World War guns.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, probably.
They looked like they needed gunpowder and stuff. And I'm not even being mean. I'm just
no,
saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of second rate. I mean,
they're loading up musket balls.
Second rate hand-me-downs is what they were kind of dealing with.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've even kind of addressed it later on toward the end of the movie when Lil Z was trying to build up an arsenal and he's trying to buy guns from that fat white dude who looks like he was in Harry Potter, and he's like, I want AR-15s. He's like, I can't get these in Brazil.
Right.
What are you talking about? Here, take this gun. It's kind of like it.
This one shoots caps. Take this one.
Yeah,
Right.
take this cap gun.
So
So
steam-powered barrel gun at the end of the movie. It looked like it, right, Little Z?
Serious. Like one-shot rifles.
So the movie starts with a tale of like Rocket's brother and the trio, but of course
The Tinder Trio.
I honestly thought that's what the whole movie was going to be about.
No.
Nope.
You were wrong.
That was just kind of the seeds of the whole movie because everything just kind of branched off that whole story.
Yeah, and it was, which, I mean, it sets it up really well. And then you learn about this little kid who does these horrifically unspeakable things.
Fucking little
that
dice.
Made me hate him so
Well,
much.
so here's the
throughout this
point of it.
So
So,
bad.
like, they go to rob this hotel, right? And they get away with it because, they told the one kid, little dice, they're like, fire into this window if the cops are coming. So they're in there doing their thing. He fires in. They all take off and they run. Well, then you come to find out that everybody in the hotel's been murdered.
Yes.
And, I'm looking at it going, holy shit. I'm thinking it's the cops.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, the cops came in. The cops fucking just wiped all these people out, took their money.
Because the cops are dirty throughout this entire film.
Right.
Oh,
And,
for
and then
sure.
you come to find out that it's Lil Dice who went in and just fucking just murdered everybody in this thing. And he's like, what is he, like 10?
With his cap gun.
No, I would say he's younger than that. This kid, this
yeah,
guy,
I mean, he's-
and not to sound okay, I hate saying this because it's going to sound racist, but not to sound racist, but sometimes when you have different ethnicities, it's hard to tell age. Like, Asian people usually, they can be older and look like they're. I mean, look at fucking like Ming-Na Wen and all these other,
Yeah, look at that.
Asian actors. Like, they don't look like they're in their 50s and 60s. So,
Yeah.
honestly, this kid could have been 10. I pegged him at maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, he was young.
looking, like diapers.
And,
young. Like,
he
he's young.
goes in, he just starts killing and murdering all these people. And it really sets up
happy
for his
about it.
character. Yeah, because he's super
He's
happy
laughing
about it.
when he kills somebody.
He's
and
in his moment, man, and this is kind of what starts his whole story. The arc of the movie.
And I mean, we've only touched on it a little bit, but I really have to say the whole like going in and out of stories, like how they're woven together, is so good. It's such good storytelling in this film. Like you'll be in somebody else's story, and then they'll just cross paths with another story that you'll see later in the film, or you saw earlier in the film, and you're like, whoa.
they legit do
Okay.
it all the way into the end. Like,
Yes.
it ends with oh, by the way, this guy was also here, and
Yes.
that's why he's here to
Yep.
fuck you up. And
Yeah.
it's like, holy shit! Like, I didn't see that coming.
Well, you're talking about the dad, like
The
he
bank,
killed my dad
when they were in the bank. Yes.
I didn't
So
see that coming either.
that was a whole.
Otto's dad.
yeah.
It was just So there are characters
O.
that go around and do stuff, and it's nut. And what really kind of makes it crazy, you can watch this movie and you're like, oh, this is nuts. I can't believe this is what a crazy movie. How did they even write this? This is a true story. This is how shit is going down in Brazil and the favelas and how it happened. And to this day, they even filmed this movie in the city next to this legit real city they call the City of God, because it's so violent they couldn't film there. Like, it's just nuts to think that if you go and really think about, okay, this movie is based off things that have happened, it makes the events that go on even fucking nuttier.
Well,
it just crazy shit.
It says all the amateur actors were recruited from the favelas in Rio de Janeiro, and a couple of them, Rocket, Alexander Rodriguez, for example, actually lived in, I cannot pronounce it, I'm sorry, Ciudad de Deus, City of God itself.
Yes.
So, and I know
Ciudad
that
de Deus.
the guy who he made this movie or wrote it or whatever, it's based on the true story, and now he's like a hero over there. They have like all these murals. I think one of the murals is little dice with the gun. Like, that's,
my God.
I know, it's fucking crazy, dude. Because there's this huge section where it's just him killing people from like the age of whatever it is, 7 to
Well, there was a whole
18.
montage where it's like, okay, hey, he went crazy and killed all these people, and then they keep doing these little fast forward montages of it's an overhead shot, which was for the subject matter. It's okay. It's crazy. I'm a fucking sociopath for enjoying the scene as much as I can.
Yeah, Jordan's like, I like the part with all the killing. I was like,
I mean,
Jesus.
well, because visually, what happened
It's
is
shot very well.
they take this top-down shot, like they built these sets that you can kind of intersperse into, and you see them get older, and and they're literally just walking in 5 or 6 people, and they're just shooting people, and visually, the subject matter, yes, is nuts, but the way they shot it was amazing. Like, I respected the way they told that part of the story. Yeah, they're killing people like crazy, and it's nutty that I'm watching this going, wow, that's awesome. But yeah, I liked it. I mean, I'm not going to apologize. I really enjoyed that moment, but
You're just a sociopath.
Yes, and I mean, but they did that a few times, like with the gang of kids, and okay, spoiler alert, Lil Z dies at the end.
What?
But he's killed by this gang of young kids, and that gang apparently is still around to this day. Like all these young, like probably under 15 kids with guns.
Again who was introduced earlier in the movie on the beach, and they pilfered a joint from Rocket, and they just kind of introduced these guys as the Runts.
The Runts, yep.
But they were like, they kind of set it up to where they're like, you need to remember these people because they're going to be important later.
Yes. Well, and there was a scene where they come up on the Runts, and they're talking about how do you move up in the gangs and do this. Well, one of the older ones has to die or whatever, and then Little Z's gang comes up on him. And
I want to talk about this scene.
This is a rough scene.
Bums me the fuck out, and it's, I think, part of it. I mean,
that
part of it because I'm a
alone,
human being, but part of it is because I'm a dad, and I'm sitting there watching this scene. And Lil Z's gang comes up. All the Runts start running off, but 2 of them get cornered. An older kid, probably maybe 14, 15 years old, and another kid that I swear to God was 5.
I thought it was 4.
4 or 5. And they were like, okay, you were talking about us, blah, blah, blah. Pick it.
Yeah,
do you want your hand
hand
shot or do you want your foot shot? And they're like, I'm like, is this going to happen? And they're like, oh, well, shoot us in the hand. And he shoots them both in the foot, and they're like on the ground crying. And this kid, this 5-year-old kid,
fucking give this kid an Oscar,
is bawling. And I'm sitting there going, I want to go upstairs, wake my son up, and just hug him because I felt so bad. And then he hands the gun to Steak and Fries, because these fucking names in this movie are fantastic.
Crazy.
He's like, Steak and Fries, take this gun, pick one, and kill him. Show me you're serious. And I'm sitting there going,
show us you're down with the hood.
I'm like, I thought he was going to say, no, I can't do it. And then Lil Z was going to do it either way. I knew it was going to happen. But he's pointing at this little kid at 5. And I'm like, oh, God, he's going to shoot this 5-year-old. I'm freaking out. And then he turns the gun on the older kid, shoots him dead. And then they make this other little kid walk off, bleeding in his foot, limp off or whatever. And I'm just
don't limp.
And he's laughing, like Lil Z's laughing his ass off. I'm like, this guy's a nut. Like, they set him up to the point where it's like he's both likable because there are some scenes where he makes.
I didn't like him at all.
No, because there's a scene where
I agree.
after Knockout Ned, God, I hate this part. They rape his girl, leave him, whatever, and they're walking away. And Knockout Ned's in his house with his family, and they're like, "Well, why didn't he kill you?" And he's like, "I don't know why he didn't kill me." And then they go to the scene where Lil Z's walking with the gang. He stops in the middle of the street, goes, "Wait, why didn't I kill that guy?" And that was kind of funny. So it's like, okay, there are moments where he's relatable, but not.
They kind
but
of
you
built
really
him
want
up.
him to fucking die.
Yeah, they built him up to where
He's a psychopath.
he almost got rid of all the violence in the city.
Yeah, he controlled everything.
For a moment, because he killed all the quote-unquote bad guys.
Right.
So they kind of built him up to almost be like this martyr of the city where he, they were like, hey, things have been really good. There's no violence anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is just going well. And then, of course, you can't be happy with just the one thing, and you got to have more, and it just creates an entire
whole shitstorm. Well, then the rival gang comes in, and that was led by Carrot,
who I loved.
the white kind of guy. He's not white, but he's white. So yeah, Carrot was in it, and then that's who he recruits Knockout Ned, and then it just shows like the way these gangs and then the violence corrupts people. Where Knockout Ned was just this normal dude. He was hanging out with his girl, and they were dancing in the 70s and disco, and they were enjoying soul music and things like that. And then his girl gets raped, and his family gets gunned down in the house by Lil Z, and then he goes to Carrot and be like, okay, I need help. Carrot's like, okay, be a part of the game, help me out. And he's like, okay, but no innocents. We can't kill innocents. Yep. And then it shows the evolution of, there's always a rule that can be broken by something else. And it shows that evolution of, he didn't want to kill innocent people. Sure, he's not a hood. And then eventually he kills people. He shoots people. He turns and kills the bank dude.
Yeah, well, the reasoning
which sets
was because
up something crazy.
The bank guy is pointing his gun at Carrot, right. And he shoots him because he says, that's a rule that can be broken.
I killed an innocent guy who was going to kill you. Okay, so that's a way of subverting the rule of killing.
And
innocents.
Then the bank guy ends up being the dad of this kid, Otto, who ends up kind of infiltrating their gang.
Joins the gang.
And then, again, spoiler alert, kills Knockout Ned at the end.
Yeah.
Shoots him right in the fucking back because he was like, I'm avenging my father's death.
Well, apparently that wasn't the first time he had seen him. Like, he, I think, shot Knockout Ned at one point when he was leaning over the body of someone he had killed.
Yes.
And so then later on, he's in the gang, does all this stuff. At the end, Knockout Ned, the Otto gets shot, and he's laying on the ground, and Knockout Ned's like, okay, I'm going to get you help. I got you. You're my homeboy or whatever. Gets up, turns around, walks away, and that Otto picks up his arm with his gun and points at him. And that's where they do the whole stop, let's go see what led to this moment. Yep. And it turns out the banker was the dad of Otto, and then Otto's like, I'm going to get into this gang. I'm going to kill the man who killed my father.
There's so many oh shit moments.
Jesus Christ. Like, I did not see that coming. Like, all the other violence was, it is what it is. I get it. But that was one of those, holy shit. They set something up that I didn't even think of picking up until that moment. It's like oh shit, this guy was going to kill you regardless. And then, sure enough, kills Knockout Ned. And I'm like, fuck this movie. Like, Jesus Christ.
That's because you're stupid.
That's right. That's it.
No,
did it.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more that I can really add that we haven't already talked about. But I loved it. I loved every second of it. It's definitely something I probably should have saw back in the day. Not that it didn't have any.
It holds up because it's a period piece.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like, oh my God. The only thing that threw me off is the woman who was with, was it Benny?
Shaggy?
No, Shaggy died
Angelica?
early on. Angelica.
The one from the beach?
Yeah, the one from the beach. She's the actress that I do recognize. So, I see movies with her now. She looks older. So to see her younger kind of threw me a little bit, only because, okay, and then I realized this movie was made a while ago. But had I not known her, none of these people no one is, a big name actor. So there's no reference of time. It's very, you could watch it now, you can watch it 3 years from now, it would feel the same, it would look the same, or you can watch it later. That's it, everybody. Good night.
Later. Good night.
Next week we talk about Little Giants.
Thank God.
But, it's one of those, it holds up regardless of when you watch it. Because it's a period piece. Because they're talking about the 60s and the 70s and leading up into the early 80s. And so I think it holds up. And I don't feel bad for not seeing it years ago because it still feels the same. I think I would have felt the same then.
Oh, yeah. No, I just saying I regret it in general. Like, I had so many chances to watch it, and I just didn't watch it. And I know as a younger person, I would have watched it and been like, holy shit, have you seen this? And people would have been like, please shut the fuck up. I don't care. And I'm glad I watched it now because I think my recommendations were more like people are like, oh, okay, well, you're recommending it, so yeah.
You got the street cred.
I got a little bit of the cred. No, I'm just saying there's people at like work and stuff who will listen to my opinions, and that's it because no one listens.
People
to this.
like me.
Yeah,
Scott's the star of the show, but people like my opinion.
He's not the star of the show. He's an asshole.
He brought us this movie.
Hey,
Thanks, Tito.
Great fucking movies.
Thanks, Tito.
It kind of embodies the show, man.
Hey, how was the subtitles? Fuck you.
Again. So again, what you were saying, like we were talking about this last night, is there's many bright moments in this movie.
Yeah, the subtitles
and
were
you
fucked
couldn't
up.
fucking read the subtitles.
I don't know if that was because it was on the soap
It
or
was.
it was it.
Okay, so HBO Max, for some reason, and we kind of touched on this, it's in Portuguese or in Spanish, and the subtitles are in Portuguese or Spanish, whatever. For some reason, there was no English version. On the TV version, I played it on my phone through the HBO Max, and it had subtitles, but those subtitles were in bright yellow. So it stood out in those bright white scenes, but I didn't watch it, however, that way. I watched it the same way on soap, and the subtitles that they hard-coded in were white. So, yes, there were moments where I had to kind of guess the dialogue based off the context. But, yeah, I think they figured that out in the normal version.
But, and again, with the subtitles, like I said, if I sat down and preferred to watch a movie, I would prefer to not have to read subtitles. Now, again, if you give me a good story, I'm into it.
Memories of a Murder is a good story.
I think this movie's better.
You're a fucking moron.
I think this movie's better.
No, it isn't.
I think to Scott's explanation, I feel like this movie had a pace that moved constantly, and there were a lot of things going on where he didn't feel like there was a lull, and there was just an hour of dialogue that he had to sit and read through. And I think you made this point the last time when we were talking about Memories of Murder or Memoirs of Murder. I get it, because when I picked I Saw the Devil, there wasn't a lot of dialogue. No. So you're not reading. There was just a lot of tense moments where there's nothing being said. There's things going on.
The imagery in the movie moved itself.
So I understand that with this, there is a lot going on where maybe you didn't have to read a lot of. There were moments of this movie that I really, really enjoyed, where the two kids were going off. They're like, okay, we got this gun. Let's go do something with it. Let's go rob somebody. Let's go do something. And they are on the bus, and they're like, well, let's rob the bus guy. He's got all his money out, and he's doing so they go up to the guy, and the guy goes, oh, you're from the city of God. And then he chalks him up to the point where they're like,
we can't kill this guy.
We like this guy. Let's not kill him.
Yeah.
So they go about their business. They're like, oh, let's go rob the bakery or whatever. So they go in there, and they
nice girl behind the counter.
This chick behind the counter is really nice. She gave me her number and wants me to call her. Fuck, all right, we can't rob this place. She was cool. And then they come up with a guy asking for directions, and he's like, oh, he's from Rio de Janeiro. He's an asshole just to begin with. Let's go fucking fuck him up. And then they talk to the guy, and he's like really cool, and they're smoking joints with him. They're like, shit, we can't kill this guy either. And there's just moments like that through this movie where it's such dark subject matter, but they pepper in very relatable, very almost heartwarming moments where it's like, I don't want bad things to happen to some of these characters.
Yeah, it's not like you've ever seen before, because there's a lot of children in this movie.
Oh my God, there was no one over the age of 18.
That really drives the whole story. It's these
and none of them are actors, like
children
real actors.
Drug lords. You know what I mean? And these kids, like you were saying, that they're trying to work their way up into, because that's all they know, because that's how they're going to survive, is to interweave themselves into these gangs. And you don't have movies like this where it's based off of children, just committing heinous acts of murder and crime. So it puts you in a very, very empathetic mentality with these kids, thinking, man, I feel bad for these kids.
Right. No, there's a moment in this movie where I legit laughed out loud, and it's fucked up that I did, where it's like this guy, Lil Z gets, I think, shot at, and him and his buddy are walking, and the guy goes, "Oh, I got hurt in my arm too. It's like we're brothers, man. This would be cooler if we were brothers."
Shut up.
And he just won't shut the fuck up. He's just being chatty, and at some point, Lil Z just turns his gun, shoots him into the street, and he dies. And he goes, "Dude, shut up," and walks away. And I'm like, that's kind of funny. Like that was just a funny moment. It's like, it's one of those, like, if this was a comedy and like the main guy shoots a henchman because he's doing something, like an Austin Powers situation where he shoots a henchman, it's like, shut up, and shoots him. That's kind of how that felt. It was probably the most slapsticky version, in this movie, but everything else, again, like, there were people that were so relatable that you didn't want bad things to happen, but,
you get invested into a lot of these characters.
Game of Thrones of Brazil,
kind of like we were talking about with like Ant and the Apocalypse, is like they kind of give you these characters that you see on screen, and you are emotionally invested in what happens to them.
Yeah, I can't say like they're relatable. I couldn't ever think of relating to any one of these characters, but yes, they give you some emotional depth to every one of these people, even the smallest of characters, not size-wise because they're all tiny, they're kids, but just in screen time-wise, you're invested in everybody, even to the point where, I sent that gif of the hammer, the shovel thing to you, and you're like, what is that? I was like, this dude was screwing this chick, and the husband walks in, he's like, what are you doing? And chases the guy out naked into the streets, and he's like, I need your shorts. So talks his brother into giving shorts. But this is
relatable to you?
No, I'm not saying it's relatable. I'm just saying, like, just moments in this movie, and then the guy takes a shovel and beats the woman to death. I'm like, fuck, this is like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and it sets it up as like, oh shit, this is a crazy movie. But
just so you all know, that's relatable to Jordan.
No, I'm saying that it makes you invest emotionally in the characters, not so much the woman or the guy who beats her, but the kid that ran out completely buck naked and was trying to like get shorts from his own brother, and then you start learning about these characters and what makes them tick in this this track homes. They were track homes, and then it became the fucking grittiest, seediest portions of Rio de Janeiro. Like, it's just nuts.
But you watch them grow up very quickly,
right?
So the movie moves through, and you see these characters, and they're moving up through their story progression, and you become invested of what is going to happen to them because of all the chaoticness of the movie.
Yeah.
We think, we were sitting there watching it, and we were like, "This guy's gonna fucking die."
There are moments. There are moments where you can say, "Okay, this is gonna happen." Like it's. I know it felt formulaic for a moment, where it's like, okay, they have this big going away party for, was it Benny, or something, whatever his character was named, and it's like, okay, he's gonna die. Like, there's no way he gets out.
But you think for a moment that Lil Z's going to kill him.
Yes.
Because he's pissed. And then it doesn't happen. And it kind of takes you off that storyline. They kind of give you that, hey, this is the formula that you think is going to happen. And that's what this movie did well for me, was it gave me things where I said, oh, shit, I didn't see that coming.
Well, and the thing is that this character was almost like the moral compass for Lil Z. As much as there was one at all for this character, as fucking crazy shit he's done up until this point, he was still the moral compass for him. And Lil Z almost was like in check. Like, it was like, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. And this guy goes, don't do it. Just, it's not worth your time. Don't worry. We got this. And then he's like, I'm out. I got to go. You're my brother, but I got to go. I can't do this. And then he gets shot, and then all the brakes are off. And that's what starts the craziness between him and the Carrots gang. Because that guy killed Benny and was like, shit, I killed the wrong guy. I was going to kill Lil Z, shot Benny, and he runs to Carrot and goes, I made a mistake. I need your help. I killed Benny. I should have. And then the Carrot's like, dude, you killed the coolest motherfucking dude in this whole fucking movie. Like, literally, it's like almost like breaking the fourth wall, looking at us, goes, he just killed the best guy in this movie. And then shoots that dude in his doorway, and he's like, well, we're fucked. Like, this is now going to be a war. And that's where kind of the movie turns into not so much like you're watching these guys grow up in this gritty area. Now it becomes a gang war movie.
Well, they sub it in the movie. It's like the beginning of the end.
Yeah, it's the gang war.
This is the beginning of the end.
and it's nuts. And I couldn't have seen you picking this movie just by yourself.
Never in a million years.
I'm glad someone recommended it to you to bring to us. I as dumb as his argument for subtitles was at the time, I feel like this was a great movie for us to enjoy. I, again, wouldn't have picked you to pick it. I'm glad you did.
And again, like I said, it's just based off a recommendation because this is out of my wheelhouse. I mean,
for sure,
majorly out of my wheelhouse. And I have seen this cover while I've been like searching for other movies.
I have too.
And I've seen it. Would this be a movie that in a million years I would have picked or sat down and watched on my own merit? Probably never.
Like, I'm going to watch this.
Never.
I want to watch the comedy Hotel Rwanda.
And that's what the nice thing about this show is that it forces me to
branch out,
sit down and branch out and watch movies. What?
It forces you to watch movies on a Friday night when you don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I told Aaron. I go, this is rough because I said I've waited till the last minute to watch this, and now I have to sit down and watch a 2-hour subtitled movie.
I actually was kind of upset when the subtitle movie came on, and like I said, we were having the subtitle issues. This was already like 10 o'clock last night, and I'm sitting there going, I waited till the last minute to discover I can't get this for free. Now I have to probably put down a sawbuck and fucking actually do this. And I was almost upset that I was going to have to pay for your subtitled movie. And, you know, piracy, prevails, and we ended up watching it. But yeah, I was like, I should have probably checked on this earlier. This is what happens when I procrastinate to the last minute. But I think the way I do it is that I want to watch these and have them fresh in my head. Otherwise, I'll have to pen to paper, do a ton of notes. I'm gonna forget half the shit. But because I just watched it, there's a lot that still sticks fresh in my head.
Excuses, all of you. Anyways, what are we scoring this, guys?
What do you got, Scott?
Your movie.
So again, just to kind of reiterate what I said, this movie gave me a lot
boner.
Gave me a giant boner.
It's all the kids,
and the nudity, lots of dong
with Aaron's hand on my thigh while we were watching the movie.
He's like, he's making him strip in the middle of a discotheque. This is perfect.
Yeah, there was multiple moments in this movie where, like I said, I thought it was going one way and it went another way. That's what I'm talking about with the storyline. Was it didn't give me that cookie cutter like, oh yeah, I saw that coming. There was so much complexity to this movie, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. It might be another movie that just for kicks I might have to go back and watch again just to kind of see how the bigger story connects it all together.
Yeah, now that you know the twists and the turns and stuff like that, you're like, okay, now I'm going to look for these characters.
Because I'm going to look for them now. Again, I think the story's great. There was a few moments of the movie where the pacing was very slow, and it was kind of at the beginning and a little bit after the middle part of the movie where they kind of it really ramps up with the whole drug thing, and then it kind of brings it back down a little bit. That, for me, is probably the only complaint that I have about this movie. I mean, this is actually probably going to be one of my higher score movies. I'm giving this a 4.5.
Aaron?
No, you go.
Man, I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. Honestly, the subject matter is dark. It's a rough movie to watch. It is really. I mean, I joke that there are moments where it's like light and it feels like it's funny, but I think those are just to break up on how really depressing this movie can be. It is a very dark movie, and especially if you have kids. I mean, people should already be feeling this way because, if you're human, you shouldn't be championing the way things happen. But it hits harder for me as a dad and having kids. And, Scott's kids are a little older. My kid, I have a 6-year-old. So, I'm seeing him, in the middle of this, pick one and kill him moment. And I'm sitting there going, this is fucked up. I had to pause it for a minute and just kind of get my bearings and then, okay, I'm going to rewatch it. So it's weird for me to score this based off the fact that it's so dark but I think that lends to how well the story was told. And I would recommend this to people. Don't do it if you're in a depressed mood because this won't fix it. But it's a very, very good movie. It is, despite my jokes about the whole indie feel at the beginning, it is a very well shot movie. It's gorgeous. it's almost like I want to visit Brazil and see this for myself, but also I don't want to go anywhere near that place. Like, no, thank you. But I would say this is a 4. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Cool. I give it a 2. No, I'm kidding. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't think, to me, I would recommend it to people. However, there's not a ton of rewatchability because all the people I liked in it died. And when once Benny died, I was out because I was like, they killed the best character. And I wasn't really out, but I really did not care anymore. I was super frustrated. And, I mean, that doesn't make the movie bad. That just means it's my own personal feelings about it. But I wouldn't want to watch this movie again knowing that he dies again because I'm like, fuck.
But it has that same Anna and the Apocalypse thing where they've
I
made
swear to
you
God,
like
if you
this character.
Keep bringing up Anna and the Apocalypse.
No, but see, that's they made you care about these characters, and that's what this movie did.
I'm
You
not
cared about
saying
these characters.
That's what I'm saying.
Why are you fighting me on something? I'm agreeing with you.
I'm not fighting.
You're literally fighting me.
I'm not. I'm saying.
How dare you agree with me, asshole?
No. What I'm saying is I'm not. I don't think that there's a ton of rewatchability for me personally because I like the character. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. I think it's a great movie, and I think that I should have watched it a long time ago. And I think it's a perfect movie for this podcast.
But do you feel like you appreciate it more now than you did maybe earlier on?
Yeah, now that I know way more about filmmaking and film stuff, absolutely. I probably would have just watched it as a kid, been like, this is a great movie, and then never thought about it again. And I probably, this isn't like, unless Second Sight or somebody comes out with like an amazing release for this isn't something I'm actually going to buy. But I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad that it's accessible, and I'm glad that other people enjoy it so much. I just don't know how Tito watches it every year for... You know what I mean? Like
I don't know if he does. He just said it's one of his favorite
since
movies.
he was 12 or whatever. He said to you.
Kicks.
So, and I'm not trying to be negative. I just want to put it into a perspective of reality. Like, are you ever going to watch this again, Scott? Ever?
Like I said, there might be a time where I might want to put this back in just to see the things that I missed, knowing what you know at the end of the movie.
You want to see where all the threads connect.
Yeah, kind of where
I'm the same
everything
way.
connects.
Okay, that's cool too. And that's
It's
cool.
not a yearly visit for me.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever.
Like,
I don't know
hey,
if I ever will because
I
there's.
might. Yeah.
Hey guys, you guys want to watch this movie?
And I'm not
City of God.
saying that every movie has to be revisitable.
There's movies you watch once and you're
It's
done.
super depressing to me. It made me feel sad. It made me mad, and that's great. That's what a movie's supposed to do. It just made me feel that stuff too much.
Well, this is a very Schindler's List movie where it's like, oh, I watched it and I experienced it. Or like Passion of the Christ. Like, oh my God, I witnessed this event movie. This was really good. It gave me insight. You want to watch it again? Fuck no.
I saw that in the theaters, and I'll never watch it again.
No, I don't know why. I bought Passion of the Christ on Blu-ray. I think it was on Blockbuster's like discount bin. So I was like, I'm going to grab Passion of the Christ. I'll never watch that movie.
You own Passion of the Christ?
I do.
And I don't own it? You're in the movie
You want my
closet?
copy?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
It's a DVD. I'm sorry.
I'll
like tons
burn
of
it in
dust
front
on
of
it.
you.
Very fucking lowbrow.
I'll crucify the disc. Put it on the cross. So, yeah. All right.
You can nail it to the wall.
That was City of God. So that means you have 2 weeks to watch my next pick, which is going to be
Town of God.
Okay, so before you pick, so the runts in this movie, just before we move on, they loved filming this movie so much that they went to the screenwriter and asked him, okay, so we're going to survive at the end. We live at the end. We're the ones that killed some of the people, and we're like based off this. Can you write us another movie to be in, like a sequel? And they did it. They were going to make a TV show called, what was it called? Like City of Men or something like that. There was an actual sequel to this movie, either as a series or it was going to be a movie, and they started making it with some of the runts growing up. And I'm like, that's ballsy. I mean, it's pretty ballsy to say, hey, I know you're writing this movie, make a sequel for us. We don't know how to act, but hey. That was great. Anyway, sorry, pick your movie. I just that's
what does that have to do with anything?
No, you had said something that triggered the fact that they were going to make a sequel to this because
well, it didn't happen. I'd watch the sequel. I mean,
I'm gonna find it now.
And
Go
just be
ahead.
depressed the whole
Pick a
time.
movie.
So
it's actually
fucking-
a slapstick comedy.
Fucking Benny!
yeah, exactly. If they even talked about Benny in the sequel, I'd be very upset.
Don't you tell me his name.
Yeah, don't you say his name. You're not good enough. Anyways, I will be picking. I guess I should have pulled up the information.
Oh, here we go.
I gave you 5 extra minutes.
Yeah, you did. I know who directs it. I just don't know what year it's from. So, you're not gonna like this, Scott, because I already know. I can already see the glaze in your eyes.
I'm
but
not going to like it.
No.
I
So
don't
this is
know.
from the year 2009. It is directed by Ty West, who the reason I'm picking this
Oh,
film
yes, that's right.
is he is coming out with a new film by A24 called X, and it looks really good. So this movie is called House of the Devil.
I can tell you like it.
I love it. It's perfect. About the deposit,
I'll agree to waive all the deposit stuff. You just give me the first month's down, we'll call it a day, all right? It's hard coming up with all that money, isn't it? It's gonna work out.
you're not the one with $84 in her bank account and a check to write on Monday.
You know what you should do?
Hi, I'm calling in regards to the babysitter flyer posted outside my dorm.
Tonight's big eclipse is now well underway.
I feel a little weird just dropping you out here in the middle of wherever we are.
You have to forgive me, Samantha, because I've not been completely honest.
We're from the desert, you know.
You see, we actually don't have a child.
They lied to you.
I
They're
know,
liars.
okay, I know you're right. But it's $400. This equals first month's rent and then some, and all I have to do is sit inside and watch TV. This is huge. This one night changes everything for me.
Here we go.
Are you not the babysitter?
Talk to me, Lord. Talk to me.
Okay, so with this, first off, it's an hour and 35 minutes, so you're all welcome. Secondly, Ty West, The Innkeeper's House of the Devil. I have not seen anything from Ty West except his TV stuff, but this movie was made before
He saw the devil?
before all the A24 horror. And a lot of the A24 horror is credited to Ty West. So your Hereditary's and your Midsommar.
Jesus.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what this is going to be like, but this is a very well-received film. It's very...
I gave those the opportunity.
yeah, I know.
So,
It's-
I mean,
it's-
I'll give this one the same
I
shake.
don't see it talked about as much as Hereditary or Midsommar and stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's necessarily like those films. I'm just saying there is a lot of people that, when you hear Ty West's name, who's the director, they're like, oh, I love those movies. I think A24 specifically picked like these type of filmmakers to make films, and now he's making an A24 movie. So it could go either way. So I don't know because I haven't seen the film. But House of the Devil, I know people love this movie. They're actually doing a UK re-release, like steelbook version, and I have it coming. It's being shipped to me with Innkeepers, which I hear is really good.
I, for some reason, for the longest time, would confuse I Saw the Devil and House of the Devil when people would talk about them.
Oh.
And it was before I kind of looked into it, and that's why I was like, okay, I like I Saw the Devil. But yes, I haven't seen House of the Devil. I've seen the cover art for this thing multiple times. I think it was either on Shudder or it's on Netflix, but I've come across it, and I've just never sat down and watched it. But I did see the trailer to X, and it looks pretty damn cool.
It looks cool. It looks very Texas Chainsaw,
Yeah.
1970s, some kind of like almost if you ever saw the movie The Visit, which was not good, but it was scary. So, it kind of looks like that. And then, like I said, he did Innkeepers. He did Cabin in the Woods 2, Spring Fever.
Oh my
So
god.
The Sacrament, which I've heard is awesome.
I feel like the more you're talking about his discography, the more you're talking me out of caring
No,
about Ty
because
West.
he did one of my favorite horror films.
Which one?
You're Next.
Oh, yes, that was a good one.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to check this out.
Nice.
I love You're Next. So if you're discouraged about like the A24 thing, or it's not an A24 film, but if you're discouraged,
It's a babysitter horror movie.
Yes.
Shush.
Love some babysitter
We will get
horror.
into it in 2 weeks. But as for next week, it's a snack show, and we got a lot of things coming your way.
Yes, we
so,
do.
As always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Jordan.
And Scott.
Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
Oh, he did it. Fucking did it.
So gross.